Well, this is why I said what I said, because we played sometime in games like that, and the Premier League sometimes will give you a game like that. But what I like about what he said, and Jamie was mentioning it at the end, and we were talking about it, so many times they were not patient enough on the ball. Every time they put the ball down and they try to make 3 to 4 passes to go on the right and on the left, they did open, but they didn't do it very often. I don't know why. Obviously, the crowd, they got bullied at times. They were over them, but I think they got away with one tonight, Liverpool. But look, that's how it is. It reminds me of the other day when Arsenal won at Man United. People were talking more about Man United than Arsenal. Same thing tonight, but they managed to find a way to win it
through strength, like he said.
I'm not sure. I mean, you mentioned the duels in the first half. I thought Liverpool lost a lot of duels in the first half. And in some ways, people always say the best way to win is with a last-minute winner. Of course, everybody knows that. But in some ways, the way Liverpool won is almost the worst way to win, taking away the last-minute goal. But in terms of, you're being dominated, you've 10 men, you're hanging on.
Former Arsenal FC striker Thierry Henry has delivered a powerful critique of modern officiating, warning that repeated refereeing controversies are undermining trust in top-level football. The French legend, widely regarded as one of the most respected voices in the game, did not hold back as he addressed the latest dispute to shake elite competition. At the heart of Henry's frustration is the role of the video assistant referee VAR. Introduced to eliminate clear and obvious errors, VAR was intended to bring precision and fairness to decisive moments. Instead, according to Henry, it has too often introduced confusion, inconsistency, and further debate. Henry made it clear that post-match apologies from refereeing bodies are no longer sufficient. In a sport where a single point can determine a league title, European qualification, or relegation survival, mistakes carry enormous consequences. Dropped points cannot be restored, and financial implications can stretch into the tens of millions. An apology doesn't change the table, has become a familiar sentiment across punditry, and Henry echoed that frustration. When careers, club finances, and seasons are defined by fine margins, the margin for error in officiating must shrink, not expand. VAR was sold as a solution to controversy. Yet debates around handball interpretations, offside lines measured to millimeters, and subjective foul decisions have led many to question whether the technology is being applied consistently. Henry emphasized that the issue is not technology itself, but how it is implemented. If VAR is designed to correct obvious mistakes, why are clear incidents still sparking widespread disagreement, and why do similar situations produce different outcomes across competitions or even within the same league? The lack of transparency compounds the problem. Unlike other sports where officials' audio is broadcast live, football still shields much of the decision-making process from public view. That opacity, critics argue, only fuels suspicion and anger. Henry's comments reflect a broader discontent felt by players, managers, and supporters. Increasingly, voices within the game are calling for trust. Once eroded, is difficult to rebuild. Football's governing bodies now face mounting pressure to demonstrate that standards are improving rather than stagnating. At its core, Henry's message is about protecting football's integrity. The sport thrives on passion, rivalry, and drama, but it must also be fair. When the narrative shifts from players' performances to referees' mistakes, the spectacle suffers. Football has evolved commercially and technologically at remarkable speed. Officiating, many argue, must evolve with the same urgency. Without meaningful reform, controversies risk becoming the defining storyline of every season. Henry's intervention adds significant weight to the debate. As a former world-class player who has experienced the stakes firsthand, his perspective resonates. The question now is whether those in charge will respond with tangible change or whether the cycle of controversy, apology, and frustration will continue.